So in this video, what we are going to do is we are going to install Hadoop on virtual machines, cluster Hadoop on Azure virtual machines. We will basically set up three slaves, Hadoop slaves, and one master. So what we have to do is we have to actually uh, get started by adding a virtual machine to our resource, and it would be a Ubuntu server, which will be LTS Gen 1 with standard D2 as V3, 2 CPUs, 8 GB memory. And we'll set a password for that, and we can set any password and name it Hadoop master. And then we'll just skip all, and we'll add a resource. We'll add it into the Hadoop. You can create a new if it doesn't exist already. And the virtual machine name is actually Hadoop master. And then we'll go to the review plus create and basically create this machine. Then we're going to add another one, and we are going to make same goes for the resource grab. Then we'll name it Hadoop. Yes, okay, deployment progress. Okay, so Hadoop, and we're going to name it Hadoop slave 1. Actually, not this way. This is the and then we're going to actually add the password, and we're gonna give it a password and name it Hadoop slave 1, and we'll accept all the ports, incoming ports. Then what we are going to do is just review and create. So it says validation passed. So what we are going to do is we are also going to create this one. And then we'll basically wait, and now what we will do, we will create another Ubuntu server. And now what we have to do is we have to select another standard E2 V3 CPU, because the current package that is given by the fast that my university is that we can have only two D2 virtual machines at a single time. So we are going to create two E2 S V3 virtual machines. And then same goes for this. We are going to name it Hadoop master slave 2 and Hadoop slave 2, and basically allow this all and review and create. Then we are actually going to wait for the validation to pass and then create. So this is the deployment is in progress. Now what we're going to do is just then create resources, then create one more, and this is going to be Hadoop slave 3. So Hadoop slave 3, and the resource group will be Hadoop and E2 password, and we are going to set the password to slave 3. We are going to add all the networking port, and we're going to review and create. And as we can see, all are being deployed. So there's a validation check. So operation is that total regional quota deployment. Okay, there's some kind of issue with the virtual machine. So what we have to do is actually think we are going to change to this one. This actually is really cost effective. costly. So but we'll try to create this one, and actually we'll wait for the validation checks. So actually I think we will go with the, for now we will just go with the limit of only the master, slave 1, slave 2. Okay, so what we are going to do is now we'll just skip this slave 3. We are going to actually connect to the master for it now, and also others we'll connect to them also. So first of all, what we need to do is we need to download Putty. Yes, and basically we can download the Putty from here, and we have to download it, the putty.exe. Where is it? Um, Here's it. So we will be downloading this putty.exe. We'll keep the file and just open it. So actually what now we are going to do is we are going to actually okay, we're going to open the Azure, and what we are going to do is just extract the IP address to which we are going to log in. Sign in. So yes. So actually this is the master. So what we are going to do, we're going to go to connect SSH and just copy this IP address Hadoop master, and then we are going to paste it here. So yes, we're going to say yes, and then we are going to enter the password that we entered there, and similarly we are going to open 1, 2, 3, 2 more. For like overview, we are going to go to loop slave 1. Same goes for the connection. Actually this is for slave 2, and then what we are going to do is we will do same for the slave 2. Yes, slave 2. And then what we are going to do is just open it, and say yes, yes. Then we're going to enter the passwords. Similarly, we are going to enter the password for this one also, and this one also. So yes, the next thing is we are going to actually update So yes, what we are going to do is we are actually going to first of all sudo apt update. So it will update all the packages. So the next thing what we have to do is we have to also do it here, apt update, and what we have to do is just end here. So the next thing is that we have to install SSH and also the PDSH. So we are just going to install them on all. And the next thing is that we add PDSH to actually the what we can say is to the bash hrc file. At the very end, we have to add it, and then same goes for the other two. Same goes for the other two. At the very end, we'll add this, and same goes for the slave 2. And we are done. Okay, copy, paste. Okay, that's good. And then what we are going to do is we are going to create the keygen. This will actually ask for the name, and we are just going to skip this. And same goes for other two. And then what we are going to do is just follow these commands actually, and then log into the local host. You actually have to yes, yes, and yes. So this is Hadoop master 1, slave 1, and Hadoop slave 2. So next thing is to install the JDK, Java JDK, and you have to install this. Actually, hold on a second. Copy, paste, paste, paste. So it says unable to locate. So actually what we are going to do is, first of all, we have to install sudo install updates upgrade. Sudo app update. So yes, we will actually install this, and then what we are going to do is we are going to actually copy this. I didn't, my bad, I didn't copy it correctly. And then what we are going to do is actually install this, the Java on all the three masters, slave and slave 2. Then we'll actually get the Apache Hadoop 3.21. We'll download it and then extract it and then configure it. So actually we will wait for the Java JDK to be installed. So yes, now what we are going to do is we are going to download this file, which is Hadoop 3.2.1. And then we are going to extract it. And then what we are going to do is we are going to rename it to Hadoop. And then we are going to add the hadoop.env.shaw, and we are going to add the Java home path So what we can do is just add it at the very top, and then we can save. Same goes for the slaves, which is slave 1 and slave 2. And then what we are going to do is we are going to move the Hadoop folder to user local Hadoop on all the machines, and then we are going to set the environment of all to actually this whole thing, that is on all of the machines. And the next thing what we are going to do is actually make a new user in all the machines, which is Hadoop user. And basically we are going to copy these commands and paste it, and then we can set the password to 1234, which is easy to use, 1234. Then we are going to just and enter 1234 for all. Like, it will be easy to remember as we will use it frequently when deploying the Hadoop. So yes, the next thing what we are going to do is we are actually going to see the IP address. So what we are going to do is write IP addr. So this is 10.07, and then same goes for the others. This is 9, and this should be 8 if I'm correct. And this is it. So 789. So what we are going to do is actually we're going to paste this host, and then what we are going to do is write that the following, like 10, as this is 10.8. So we are going to just grab it and paste it over here. So this is for this slave 1 actually. Hadoop slave 1, and similar thing would happen for 2 and master. Master was actually 7, so we are going to enter 7. And this will be 9, and we'll just copy it so that we could easily copy this thing on the other 2 slaves also. And then we are going to save on master, then same goes for other 2. Copy, then copy, paste, and save. Then for this one also, the slave 2, we're going to do the same. And what we are going to do is actually we are going to this and paste it over here and save it. So the next thing is that we check the host name of every, although I have named it correctly, but we are still going to see whether all the names are correct or not. This should be Hadoop master, which is correct, and then we are going to see this as Hadoop slave 1, which is correct, and same goes for the Hadoop slave 2, which is also correct. So now what we are going to do is actually we're we're going to reboot the machines, virtual machines, and this will temporarily disconnect. Then what we are going to do is we are going to actually wait for the actual machine to run. And for the time being, what we are going to do is we are just going to go there and actually follow the same procedure as we followed previously. We are going to log in, then we'll go to slave virtual machines, slave 1, connect, SSH, and basically copy this, paste it over here, and same goes for virtual machines, master, and where is it? Connect, SSH, copy this. Slave 1 goes here, slave 2, master at the top, and at the bottom, slave 2. So we'll enter the password that we entered in the Azure, not that 1234. We'll use it laterwards. So yes, this is 9, 7, and 8. So what we are going to do is then we are just going to open this Hadoop user, and now we are going to enter 1234 password, and it should log into the master. And then we are going to create the key, and we should save it, enter the passphrase. We are not going to enter the passphrase, and yes. So now what we are going to do is copy all the host SSH, and it should say yes, and yes, we are going to say yes, and Hadoop user we 1234 as yes, it has been added. Now similar thing as for this one, so we'll say yes. 1234 is the password we set for all the slave 1, slave 2. Okay, 1234. So yes, and same goes for the slave 2. And this will be done only on master. And then what we are going to do is we are actually going to configure Hadoop core side XML and other Hdfs side XML. First of all, what we are going to do is configure Hadoop user. Hadoop user is not in sudo's file. This system will be reported. Okay, so actually what happened is we should actually copy line by line 1, 2, 3, 4. So what so what happened is I actually didn't run all of these commands. So what we are going to do is we are just going to go to actually su minus Hadoop master. And then enter the password. And then give this user the rights to use sudo. So yes. So the next thing what we are going to do is actually log back into that su minus Hadoop user and enter the password 1234, and then what we are going to do is actually update the configuration file. We are going to add this property and save it. Same goes for the Hadoop Hdfs side. Copy these properties, and the next thing what we are going to do, we are going to specify our workers, which will be Hadoop slave 1 and slave 2 only for now because of that restriction, but I did plan for actually 4 slaves. And the next thing is what we are going to do is we are going to copy all of them into the configuration files into the slave 1 and slave 2 respectively. So yes, it did say that the permission was denied. The permission was denied because of the fact that this is not a sudo. So what we are going to do is that we are going to add this one here and give all the respective so yes, it did actually transferred all the files. Now same for actually the slave 2, and then what we are going to do, we are going to transfer the file for the slave 2. So it was a success. Now what we are going to do is actually we are going to just source the environment, and then what we are going to do is actually format the name node Hdfs. So first of all, what we have to do is go to the user local, then cd Hadoop, and in there we are going to do is what just happened is that what we are going to do is just say bin Hdfs name node as format. So it will format our name nodes. Now what we are going to do is just start by typing in the DFS by actually writing this. Start dfs.sh, and it will try to actually start all the data nodes. Warning, there was no log. So in order to confirm, we can see that we have a secondary name node here, then we should have a data node here and a data node here. One. So the next thing what we can do is actually uh, see where it is being hosted. So by default, what we have to do is the next step is to actually configure the network of master. First of all, we are going to give a DNS name, and this should actually be static, and we should name this Hadoop master once this name. And actually save it. What happened is I just forgot. This is your virtual machine may be rebooted. I don't want to reboot it for now. So what we are going to do is actually we are going to return, and then in the networks we are going to actually add like Hadoop 9807. Actually what we are going to add an inbound port rule, and then 9807 and any, and then add it. And we'll wait to actually create the security rule, and then what we are going to do is going to the virtual machines, open the Hadoop master and copy this URL and paste it over here, and then after a colon 9807. And then what we are going to do is, first of all, what we should do is we should export all the Hadoop related commands and its own, and then we are going to configure the yarn side and add the property, copy, paste it. And now what we are going to do is actually also start the yarn, which is sben start the yarn.shop, starting resources managers and node manager. GPS. As you can see, we have name node, resource manager, GPS, and secondary name node. What next we are going to do is actually see all the ports which are related to this is 9870. It's actually 709870. It should be 9870. And we will have to edit the network and edit also this the name actually 70 and add it, save. This will allow us to access the port 9807 actually 9870, which is important. We'll wait for it to actually connect. Yes, it's actually 9870. Yes, so yes, it did took some time. Now what we're going to do is we can see that the configure capacity is 57 GB, and if we see the data nodes, there are two data nodes, which is slave 1 and slave 2. And actually what we are going to do is also add uh, to the network's 808 port, which is that main interface for the Hadoop, where we can see our task 8088 actually, and then we should name it 8088 and add it. Same goes for the 88. It would take some time to actually successfully creating the security rule and then going in all applications. So yes, now we can see is that we do have all the required things. What we can do is now actually see the two data nodes, and we have successfully installed the multi-node cluster on Azure. Let's see what we have to do. Eventually what we have to do is so yes, the next thing what we are going to do is actually see why not it's showing the active nodes. Start all show. So yes, so now it's actually showing the active nodes. So basically, what was the mistake, that I didn't copy the yarn.xml. We yarn site.xml. So what I did is actually I run these two commands again, which help me copy all the required files, and then I stopped all the services and then restarted it. So this actually fixed the issue that the Hadoop nodes of cluster wasn't showing the active node as 2. So now it's showing active nodes as 2, which is slave 2 and slave 1. And similarly, we have 2 data nodes. Refresh this, and we can still see 2 active data nodes. So that's it.